Hello, guys. Good morning, everyone. So, finally, it is a good morning today. That is because the Nifty index has actually found support at the 40-day exponential average. We, we had sort of discussed yesterday that that is an important level on the downside, and actually many of our proprietary indicator as well as the other sentiment indicators were indicating that some sort of pullback is likely. So let's see what the path is. I think today's video is actually more important from say people who trade from 2 to 3 weeks to the guys who are positional traders. I mean the medium term traders. So I think this video should be helpful for them. That is because today we touch up a bit on sentiment indicators because there are some key developments that are happening over there. And apart from that, we will be talking about the RMI scanner because since the market is giving us the early signs of reversal, so we need to be on top of it and find which are the stocks that are giving the signals, or basically how is it that you can find out the stocks where you can look out for a trade, either a breakout or the momentum is just picking up. So that is what we are going to talk about today. So let me quickly share my screen. Okay, so yeah, I have shared my screen. So uh, so this is what we were talking about yesterday. Okay, the 40-day exponential average. This was an important support level for the Nifty index because you can see that ever since we crossed about the 40-day exponential average. I think this was somewhere in April, 15th April. After that, we have been trading about the 40-day exponential average, even where the war broke out over here of Iran and Israel. Uh, at that time also, the 40-day exponential held and the Nifty eventually moved higher. We were expecting the same thing to happen over here also because there were many sentiment indicators which I'll just come in a while, that were pointing towards oversold condition. Now, the question then is that what's next, right? So one thing that I had mentioned was that to see some sign of strength, so if I draw a parallel channel from here, okay, this was actually our breakdown point, and we are sort of now, retesting that. Okay, so there are two things that will be important to monitor. So firstly, see the RMI gave a bullish crossover, yesterday only, in the I think around the 2 p.m. session. I mean around the 2 p.m. candle. Okay, and after that, we have seen this up move happening. Now, one important thing that is happening today is that the 20 hour is breaking on the upside. Now, of course, we would want the Nifty index to close above it and sustain above it to show early signs of reversal. And the next important resistance will be the 40-hour exponential average, okay, which is right now at 25,263. So that is now a major support level, I mean major resistance level on the upside. I think once these two gets cleared, there is a good chance that a correction could be in place. If you want to wait for further more correction, the last confirmation that I would look out for is the retracement of this entire decline. Okay, I mean I frankly use Fibonacci levels very rigorously. So so that level comes to around 25,415. Okay, so that is the 61.8% retracement of the entire decline that we have seen. So I think once that breaks on the upside, then it would be even more confirmation that the correction is complete and an up move is starting. Now, why was I a little more confident yesterday that a reversal should come basically, from somewhere over here? Because if you remember, we spoke over here, that's where the sentiment got oversold somewhere over here, but there was a scope of a correction till the 40-day because usually those act as a very good support. Okay, this is something that we had discussed. Now let's look at the sentiment indicator. So it is basically the daily swing that was giving us that confidence. So let me plot the exponential average, that is 40, okay, and make it a bar chart. So it was basically on this candle when oversold conditions were there, but there was a possibility of a correction up to the 40-day exponential average, which is what happened. And in fact, yesterday only the small mid caps were bouncing back, okay, and that is where the swing reading had come up higher. And in fact, I had also mentioned one of the other very short term indicator, which is percentage of stock with RMI buy. Okay, that also went to around 17 reading. So over here also, if you see, whenever this oversold has happened and broadly we have been in an uptrend. Okay, so over here, if I add the 40, so broadly, whenever we have been above the 40 and this oversold conditions have come about, the bottom has been made and the Nifty index has risen higher. So, this was the expectation. And also the other thing was that, this important support level, which was earlier the resistance, okay, that got breached on the upside. And, the Nifty sort of retested that and it is now attempting to rise higher. So, these are encouraging signs, but as I mentioned, you will have to look out for the hourly averages. And the last one, which I mentioned, was the 61.8% retracement of this entire decline, which comes to around 25,416 or something like that, right? Wait, sorry. So which was this 61.8% retracement level, which was around this 25,417 mark. So now going forward, 25,263, which was the 40-hour exponential, and 25,417. Okay, these are the two important levels to watch out for in the near term. And once these levels break on the upside and the Nifty index starts sustaining above that, then that will be an encouraging sign. uh, Now, the reason why I think this can be a good short to medium term bottom is one, I already mentioned to you that the short term indicator like swing was, showing oversold. Even average swing had almost gone back to that, oversold zone. But what is more interesting is the medium term indicator, which is like FII positioning. Okay, so in this minor correction, okay, that we had seen all the way from 25,600, 700 to basically, so the current levels. So you can say somewhere around 2.5% correction, and the shorting has gone all the way from minus 30,000 to minus 121. Sorry, minus 30,000 contract to minus 1,21,000 contract. And historically, okay, we have seen that whenever their shorting exceeds this 1,13,000 mark, that's where the bottom has occurred. Okay, so this was on the election day as well. It was only around this time where it exceeded and sustained below it for quite some time, but eventually it led to a rally. So see, the thing over here is that I think eventually this shorts will get covered. The only thing that is unknown is that will it go till here and then get covered, or what happens. I mean, if at all it goes till here, then maybe the Nifty index might see some sort of deeper correction and only then go up. But as we saw that the 40-day exponential average is holding, and if that holds, okay, and we start seeing short covering right away, then I think yesterday's low could be well a good bottom to watch out for. So that's why, to confirm a medium term bottom, as I said, the 61.8% retracement will sort of be the last thing to watch out for, okay, which was this 25,417 sort of levels. Okay, I think once that is taken out, there is a good chance that these all shorts. So basically, what will happen is that the FIs will be caught on the wrong foot, and then they will be forced to cover the shorts, which can ultimately lead, a good short covering rally. In fact, you can see over here as well, they were short. Then eventually, when the rally played out, they ended up covering shorts. Okay, and in the final decline that happened, there were not much shorts that were formed. And again, when the rally started, they started short covering. So this is what I would expect the same playbook to play out once again. The other thing, which is client plus FI positioning. Okay, even that, if you see, that is also pointing out towards this zone where a possible reversal can happen. Okay, like you see over here, same thing, same setup is over here. Okay, in fact, on the election day low, this was not very oversold, but over here also it was oversold. Okay, and now again over here it is getting oversold. So I would expect that a good medium term rally could come into play once 25,400 breaks on the upside. I mean 25,416 breaks on the upside, and the Nifty index sustains above that. So that's where this short covering will happen. And in fact, this is actually a lot more of a long term sort of indicator, which is DII's positioning. So what happens is that when there is extreme optimism in the market, they go usually short. Okay, where their shorts become extreme. So this is totally opposite of FIs. Okay, and when the market is at the bottom, they are extremely long. Okay, and you can see over here that they were extremely long over here, and that has played out. And in fact, their long position were the highest in the history. If I have to check the entire history also, that we have on strike, I mean, it has never been so bullish at all. Okay, earlier. So you can see the max that happened was over here, but this time the bullishness is even more. Okay, so that is a good sign, and because it is still at the top end of the range, where normally, so let me just give you those horizontal lines so that you understand. Uh, okay, so you can see that whenever it is above this two lines on the upside, that's where there is a high chance of a bottom in the Nifty index, and usually we see a good rally after that. Okay, so there are multiple indicators actually suggesting that, and the good part is that the breadth, which had almost risen higher towards the upper end, that has also cooled off significantly. Even in 40, there has been some cooling off that we have seen. But I had made a very short video on Twitter also, mentioning that these kind of things can happen where the breadth peaks out in the middle of the up move. Okay, then in the rest of the move, only the quality stocks participates, and that's where you can end up getting divergence before finally seeing a correction. Okay, so these sort of patterns are very much possible, and we are already seeing some sort of divergence forming. So what I would expect is something like this to happen, in which you will see the breadth also over here, and there will be multiple divergence, and then at and then only you will see a deeper correction. And at that point of time, all those medium term indicators which are right now suggesting bearish sentiments because of extreme shorting, that might end up getting covered, and they may end up becoming net long, especially the FIs. So the next point of bother for us will be when this positioning goes over here. That's where we can say that now there is extreme optimism in the market, and at some point of time it will happen. Okay, these cycles take almost around 2 to 3 months to play out. So I would expect that at some point of time the positioning goes to the other extreme, and that is when we will need to be careful on the long side. But so far, I understand that the market is at the higher level, so there is always some skepticism and fear that we might end up correcting and so on. Especially when the news from US keeps flowing of Trump tariff and all those things. But when we look at purely the data, it is telling us the other way around, and it tells us that there is more steam left. Okay, so this is what looks like from a medium term perspective. Now the question would be, what do we do, right? So as I mentioned, in the short term, we have already seen a reversal, right? So in this case, basically what you will do is that go to the scanner. Okay, I am at the home page over here. Hover over here. Okay, go to scanner, and there is something called as RMI Scanner. Okay, this works like MACD, but it is faster and smoother than MACD. Okay, so what we have done over here is that based on the positioning, we have kept some signals. Okay, like say for example, if this is above the red line, which is the RMI indicator, then it is simply in buy. If it is below the red line, okay, then it is in sell. The green line is below the red line, then it is sell. If the green line is crossing above the red line, then it is a new buy. And if it is crossing over on the downside, it is a new sell, right? Now, because in the short term, we are seeing some turnaround. So maybe on a daily chart, I will try to do. I'll try to find the stocks with new buy. Okay. Now, people who are not well versed with RMI, we have done a short video as well on RMI. Basically, over here, identifying the best stocks for buy and sell opportunities using RMI. You can go through this video, or even we have done a lot of webinars on RMI. So over here, if you see strike underscore IC, okay, you can see over here. So in live section, if you go and if you see Rohit momentum indicator, or basically RMI. Okay, this is what I was talking about. Also, master RMI, the only momentum indicator you'll need. So there are a lot of this webinars that we have done on RMI. Please go through that. You will have a fair idea about it. In case if you still have doubts, we take up Q&A after these sessions. You can anytime ask us, and we'll try to clarify your doubts as much as possible. So yes, when we come back to the scanners over here, okay. So new buys are the one, and especially you can go through the videos, but I'll just give you a small gist of it. Basically, whenever the RMI come, so this is the zero line, okay, which means this is the equilibrium point, okay. So whenever the RMI would so the RMI is green line, okay, and this is the red line. This is the average of RMI. Right? So it might behave, say, something like this. So whenever the signals, all the signals that are appearing below the zero line or after the green line touching the zero line, those are the signals of more importance. Okay. So if you have, say, a signal, something like this. Okay. And over here, you are basically seeing a crossover, then you might not give much importance to this. That is because it has not come back to the zero line and it has given a crossover. Okay. So this will be a lot more important bullish crossover than this. And of course, then, what you need to do is trend, gauging the trend. So the signals that are happening that are above the averages, that are even more better. Okay. Now, many of you might say that please bring a scanner, where the new buy happens above zero line. Many people have requested in the past. We had done that, but there were many signals that were not being caught. That is because, we have to define the system a time frame in which this is happening. Like when the zero line is, when the RMI is going below the zero line and then giving a crossover. So when we were trying to put those logic, we were seeing that many of the signals are getting missed out, and that is why we wanted to do something like this, where we give the chart on the right hand side. So all you have to do is just click, 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 and see what is happening. Now see, Now this is purely from the educational purpose, so that you understand which signals or which setups are better. So say something like aegis logistic, okay, where it is below the averages and the crossover is happening at the max. What we might see in the near term is a pullback to the averages, okay. But what can happen is that if the averages don't get breached on the upside, then there is a risk of a correction, okay. So between this, okay, aegis logistic, and say something like this, all cargo logistic, okay, where you have seen that the consolidation has happened above the 40-day exponential average, and then it is giving a bullish crossover. These are much more important crossovers, because over here, given that they are trading above the averages, it already means that the trend is up, okay. And then when there is a bullish crossover, it is a sign that this correction which was happening is possibly over. Now the next leg of up move can play out, okay. So what you can do is that go through this scanner, scan the stocks, see where those important scans are coming, okay. And that will help you to analyze it quickly. So say something like clean signs, okay. Over here also you can see that there is some sort of triangular pattern that is developing over here, and it is also encouraging that the stock is respecting the 40-day, and then it is giving a bullish crossover. So this can be a good sign, right? So this also setup then looks interesting. Something like Cold India, where bullish crossover is happening, but it is below the averages. So you need to be a little careful, okay. You, even if you are convinced that it is going higher, maybe initially you might want to keep less position, but once you get the crossovers, I mean, once you get the confirmation of prices moving above the averages, that's where you can add more and be a lot more confident, okay. Even say something like DCB Bank, a nice consolidation has happened over here, and the consolidation has happened above the 40-day exponential average, and now it is breaking out. So this also, in terms of setup, is very good. So that is how you can look out for the setups, okay. Now when the daily RMI daily RMI crossover comes, okay, its significance is, say, from next uh, 2 to 4 weeks kind of thing, okay. That's where the move will play out, okay. Because basically what I mean is that if this crossover is happening over here, usually it will take 2 to 4 weeks to play out this entire move, and then it can come down. So people who have that kind of time horizon, it is best to use the daily RSI. I mean daily RMI. If at all you are a positional guy, okay, then looking at weekly makes more sense. Now that is because weekly cycles can take almost up to 2 to 4 months to play out the entire weekly cycle, okay. So like you see over here, this is 13th May, and it played out till August. Okay, so the crossover that you got was on August. So basically June, July, and August. So 2 to 3 months, and if the up moves are a little more extended, then it can even last up to 3 to 4 months as well. So this is how you can filter out. Okay, sometimes what I do is that when I get a lot of signals, so over here 32 signals, 32 stocks, we are getting the signal, that is not a big amount. But if at all the signals are lots, so say for example it is 100 over here, then what I might do is that I might put additional filter on the monthly chart. Okay, in monthly I will do buy and new buy. So then I am just left with few stocks, and that can help me to analyze much more quickly which are the stocks I would want to concentrate on. Okay, so this is how you can actually you can actually find out the stocks. And similarly the same process I can do for daily as well. Okay, if daily is there, it is always better if you are getting a lot of signals. So over here you can see that there are almost 51 signals. So here in weekly I would expect it to be in buy or new buy. Okay, so over here, then out of the 51, now the list has come down to 38. So that is how you can find out more stocks. Even this, if you feel is more, it is much more, 38. Then you put an additional filter on the monthly as well, where it is buy or new buy. So then you're left with just 7. Okay, over there, then you try to find out the best setup. So say something like clean signs comes over here, where in the monthly, in the daily chart it is above the averages, in weekly it is in buy, in monthly also it has come in buy. So this might end up being interesting. Similarly Devyani. So you can do all these sort of analysis and try to arrive to the stock, because see, the main pain point is screening the stock and finding which one is good, right? So this is what it is, an attempt from our side to make it very very easy for you, so that you can concentrate more on execution and see how things are playing out, rather than just simply scan the stocks and keep finding the stocks which can be very cumbersome. So yes, I mean, that is how you can use the scanners, especially the RMI scanner, effectively, and you can find out your stocks, which basically suits your style. So that's about it from my side. If you'll now have any questions, I can take it up. So there are some questions. Is there a target for Nifty? So AK, I am. I mean, see, these are all educational type webinars that we are trying to do, so that you understand the system and you can derive it yourself. Okay, we don't intend to give any target or any view as such. Okay. AK, again, the question is how to get FNO stocks in RMI. Okay, good question. So over here, it is basket. I have chosen right now Nifty total market. You can deselect everything, and there is a basket of FNO. Okay. So over here, all the FNO stocks will come, as you can see, 229 over here. Now you can apply the same process over here, and you can see that within FNO stocks, Alchem, Axis, so all these stocks are coming into bullish mode. Okay, I mean, they are giving bullish crossovers, so you can have a look at it. Okay. So now see, within all the setups that we had seen, Hero Moto specifically looks good. That is because the consolidation has happened above the averages, and then there is a bullish crossover that is happening. So this is how you can quickly scan your stocks and try to arrive at the stocks where which can basically suit your style as well, and this complements your studies as well. So yes, you can choose the basket over here. If you want to say see from Nifty 500, just click Nifty 500 over here. Okay, if you do all over here, then whatever basket is there. Okay, I just want to clarify one thing. Okay, all doesn't mean all NSE stock. All simply means whatever you have. Okay, watch list or basket or whatever you have, everything gets selected. Okay, so Nifty all stocks, it was taking a lot of time if we put it over here. One hack for you to bring all stocks in RMI is that I had done that. So you can simply go to the heat map, go to NSE all stock. Okay, over here save all the stocks in the watch list. So I can create a new one, NSE all stocks, and I can mention some date. Okay, because what happens is that many stocks they keep getting added. So I create a watch list. Over here I click on all. Okay, now I added to the watch list the entire one. Okay, so now in the watch list, if I go, I can see that there are 2638 stock. Okay, 2638 stock. Now if I want to do it on a scanner, just go to the scanner, RMI scanner. In basket, you can either select all, because everything gets by default selected. So you can see that there will be a list of stock that will come, and then you have to apply the same process. Okay, new buy. Now see, there are 166 stocks that are coming, right, for new buy. Now let me try and see if I can bring it down by applying more filters. So it is buy and new buy. Now it has come down to 121. even in monthly, I'll make it buy and new buy. So now I have come up with just 21 stock out of almost the entire basket that was there. Okay, so this is how quickly you can boil down to the stocks, and you can find your opportunities. So there is a question from Siddesh. Can we combine downtrend indicator with RMI in charts? Uh, I think yes, you can. Wait, let me just check. I think over here there is no. So I think in this improvement we'll try to put this where in downtrend. So downtrend also basically works the same way like in RMI we do. So the signals over here are up, down, and when the trend is changing from down to up, so these are the stocks. If I do it down to up, these are the ones which are breaking above the previous high which it would be making. Okay. So Siddesh, I think your point is valid. We'll try to bring over your indicators so that people can put RMI indicator over here as well and see it. Okay, that is one feedback where we'll take it. We are actually in the process of moving this screen to 1 minute delay. Okay, once we do that successfully, we'll add these sort of features as well, so that it becomes a lot more user friendly. Parag says when you say short, it means sell, and when you say long, it means buy. Yes, yes, yes. Uh, yes. So whenever basically new buy is coming, it means that the bullish crossover is happening on the indicator. Okay, and that is why it is coming as new buy. So over here, yesterday this was in sell, but today it has come in buy. Okay. So that is what it would mean. So for some stocks, you might find it like this. That is because they are illiquid, and we are trying to make this improvement as well. But all the stocks where the liquidity is there, you won't see any issue with the signals. Okay, so that's how you can go and click on new buy, and you will be able to get all the signals. And The other thing that was sell. So yes, similarly, you can do those new sell. So say for example, FNO stocks, I'm picking it. Okay. So over here now I want to see the stocks which are in new sell or they are giving sell. So I'll do the same thing. New sell, just click and I'll get those signals over here. Okay. Should we compare sentiment indicators with Bank Nifty? So, Gurdeep, many people have asked that. See, Nifty is a lot more broader index, okay, and Nifty gets traded as well. In fact, Bank Nifty also gets traded, but Bank Nifty is derived from those 13 stocks which are specifically banking stocks. So that's why sentiment indicator doesn't apply over there, but it is more relevant for say Nifty mid cap, Nifty 500, Nifty 50. Okay, it is more applicable from that perspective, not sector specific index. Okay, we have just specifically put a chart of Nifty index because that is widely traded, and it becomes helpful for people also to make sense out of that. You're saying HCL Tech is not appearing in FNO basket. That may not be true. Let me search for it. HCL Tech. So over here, see, it is appearing in the basket, but it is not appearing in new sell list. That is because it is already in sell. Okay, that is why it is not appearing. In hourly, if you do new sell, it might appear to you. Okay, so yes, that is the one. Then should you compare Nifty sentiment index? Acha, okay, I addressed this one. I think you once again posted the same thing, but as I mentioned, uh, you cannot compare it. I mean, you cannot compare sentiment indicators to derive a view for Bank Nifty. Okay, is there any indicator for volatility contraction pattern? Yes, AK, there is a indicator that is there. So in scanners, if you go, there is this technical indicator which is Bollinger Band. Okay, so uh, you know early band tightening. So this does not actually captures your extreme contracting case, but see, whenever the Bollinger bands are starting to contract, it will pick it over here. Okay, if you want the signal where the breakout is possibly happening now, you can look at for early band widening. In this case, what happens is that the bands, wait, I'll make it a little more narrow basket so that it becomes helpful to explain as well. So say for example FNO stock, okay, I'm doing this. So then you can see that here the bands are widening. Okay, so it comes into the scanner. Say for example something like this Cipla, the band is widening, it has come to the scanner. Okay, we want to refine it a little more, and we are putting some more logics so that you can actually find where the Bollinger squeeze is happening. Okay, but as of now we have this early band tightening and early band widening, and price crossing above the lower band, which means the prices have touched the lower band and then it is crossing above. Similarly, the price which have gone above the upper band and then they are turning around. So these all the scan that is there at this point of time. Okay, but we'll try to refine it and bring a little more. Can you please explain the liquidity impacting the indicator, how to overcome that? Uh, Abhijit, good question. See, honestly, we don't believe about liquidity and all. Okay, that might be impacting, but that is the collective wisdom of the entire market, and everyone would know that, and that is why they're trading it accordingly, right? So then, as we say in market, bhav bhagwan hai. So this is what we would believe, and we would always look at sentiment indicators with price action. Okay, so somewhere over here, many might say that okay, the trend is bearish, liquidity is there, FIs are short, everything is happening. Okay, this can crack on the downside. People might argue that, okay, but that's where we try and stick to our process. Okay, so basically, see, if the swing is oversold and if it is trading above the moving average, which is say 40 exponential average, okay, if this happens, then it usually is a good signal to buy. Now, people might argue that kal Fed ka meet hai, it can go haywire and all those things. But in technicals, we are dealing with probability, right? So as long as the 40-day exponential is held, this theory holds true, and the case of a pullback is possible. Okay, that is how I would put it. So we would not be more concerned about liquidity and all, because we would believe that everything is factored in by the market, and people are positioning themselves considering all those things. So that is why we would trust more on the indicator and price action and how they are doing. Uh, so two screen layout required for intraday screening. Yes, Gurdeep, it's there. So it's in our agenda. Basically, just the way Trading View also gives us, many kind of layout, right? We'll try to, bring those layout over here. Whatever is there in the free library that we have from Trading View, we'll try to bring over here. Okay, so that can help you solve this issue. So yeah, I think that's about it. So we have also completed 40 minutes, and usually that is session is. So yes, thanks a lot once again. I hope you found some value, and I hope you will go to the RMI indicator and learn thoroughly about it, how to trade on it, and how to use those signals. It is actually very simple. Sometimes what happens is that we explain this to people, and they say that it cannot be so easy, but trust me, you go through the video, you look at it, and you try trading on that, you will understand it is extremely easy. Okay, all you have to do is just maintain that discipline, follow the setups, and wait patiently for those setups to come. Okay, and not to be in hurry. So yes, so that's about it. Uh, okay, there is a question from Siddesh. No, Siddesh. So actually, we had just coded it on TradingView for our reference when we had not made strike. Now that we have made strike, we have put it on strike only, the RMI indicator. Okay, so it is not available for public, but we had just done it because that time strike did not exist. I mean, strike was not existent at that point of time. So yeah. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. So see you tomorrow around the same time, 11 o'clock, and let's see whether the Nifty index breaks those resistance which we were talking about today. Okay. Until then, goodbye. See you.